rapidly growing population in Brunswick County means services like health care need to grow to keep pace.
Leaders at Dosher Memorial Hospital are kicking off an expansion project that they say will help treat the growing number of patients they see. WECT's Ashley Balsavius talked with leaders in Southport about the need to expand at the hospital. Now, Ashley, you found out the area is seeing more medical emergency cases right now.
They are, John. I'm told Dosher's emergency department used to be busy just during tourist season, but now it's busy all the time. Expansion plans have been talked about for years, but now leaders say it's needed more than ever. The growing population in Brunswick County and in Southport has grown the need for medical care. The city's EMS crews are now responding to double the number of emergency calls compared to just a few years ago.
Minutes truly matter in an emergency situation. So as this community grows, we need to be prepared to take care of those emergencies.
The expansion plans call for building a new emergency department for Dosher Memorial Hospital, a separate 8,000-foot facility, twice the size of the current ED at the corner of Howe and 9th Street. Kate Moore, Dosher's chief nursing officer, says it means more than just extra space.
It's not just a renovation, but improving the care for the patients and the outcomes for them.
CEO and President Linda Stanley says this past fiscal year, the ER served 12,000 patients, many more than in past years. Southport Fire Chief Charles Drew says emergency calls come in year-round now.
We used to have a time period during the winter season that calls slowed down, and it's not like that anymore. We don't get that slow period.
He says this expansion means they'll be more prepared for emergencies, especially as the fire department recently expanded their services from advanced EMT to paramedic level.
I feel like it's going to be easier and help us more to be able to transport more patients there, and that's what we want to do because we have a quicker turnaround when we can transport patients to Dosher and get back in service to be ready for the next call.
Hospital leaders hope the new facility means the wait times will become even shorter, but their ultimate goal is to expand access to health care. I checked with the hospital today, and there will be no interruptions to current emergency services while the new facility is being built. Right now, the timeline to have the new facility up and running is late 2025. John?
All right, Ashley, thanks.